Hi there, welcome to the YouTube channel. I'm back again and I'm taking a break from Duskmourn for today and tomorrow. Tomorrow, stream replay, one that I really enjoyed from the other week. But today I had a request on one of the streams last week that I have a look at this one because it's one of the cards I hadn't covered from MH3. So, Imskir, Iron Eater gets my look at today. 6 black and red for a 5/5. Legendary creature Demon. Has affinity for artifacts. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each artifact you control. Okay. And then when Imskir Iron Eater enters the battlefield, you draw X, lose X, where X is half the number of artifacts you control, rounded down. So 3 artifacts will give you sort of like half of them, so 2. Yeah, well no, 1, sorry. 4 will give you 2, 5 will give you 2, 6 will give you 3, so on and so forth. And then you can pay 3 in a red to sack an artifact, and it deals damage equal to the sacrificed artifact's mana value to any target. Okay. I'm not sure how I missed this for MH3 when I looked at MH3, but hey, I'm making amends for it now, so here we go. It's a fun one. The sacrifice bit, not really going for. The affinity bit, I really am going for, so here we go. This, I will say, would have been really easy to do a few weeks ago before Dockside Extortionist got banned, but hey, you know, not going into that. So, we've gone the other way. So we've got Impulsive Pilferer to give us a treasure token. That's an artifact, so that counts to get Imskir's casting cost down. Blood Artist gives us a way to gain some life and make people lose some life when we lose a creature. Generous Plunderer gives someone a treasure and gives us a treasure each time, and then when it attacks it deals damage to defending player equal to the number of artifacts they control. So that's quite a nice little bit of menacing, going in for damage each turn. Academy Manufacturer gives us clue, foods and treasures when we get to do the other bits and pieces, which obviously helps with our artifact count for the affinity side of Imskir. Zorn helps us double up on the treasures as well, or gives us an extra one. Decadent Dragon, whenever it attacks we get a treasure token, and we can do the exile the top 2 card bits if we need to and play it. You may look at and play those cards for as long as they remained exiled. If someone scries something you want to make sure they get rid of it, you can get the expensive taste, so that makes sense. Eradicator Valkyrie gives us some life from the lifelink. That's the only reason this is in the deck. The Boast occasionally will become relevant. Frogmite, because it's got affinity for artifacts, and we've got a few other creatures with affinity for artifacts in the deck, so this is one of them. Mishra, Claim Bite, kicks us in, mainly because it gives us a way of gaining some life when we attack with multiple creatures, so yeah, cope with that plan. Prosper, Tombbound, I'm playing a black-red deck, it's always going to turn up, sorry. We do get a treasure token when we play a card from exile, and we do get to exile one, so that's quite nice to help with the affinity side of thing. Refurbished Familiar has affinity for artifacts. It is an artifact itself, and when it enters the battlefield, each opponent discards a card, and for each opponent who can't, you draw a card. It's nice if you hit this late in the game when people have got nothing in their hand they want to get rid of, or they've got literally no cards in hand, which does happen. Bonehoard Dracosaur gives us a treasure if we exile a non-land card this way, or get a 3/1 dinosaur depending how we do it. So the treasures help with this smear, the dinosaurs just give us good blockers. Goldspan Dragon does treasures, which helps with the affinity side of thing, along with Ancient Copper Dragon. Hellkite Tyrant is one of our backup win conditions. Deals combat damage to a player, gain control of all artifacts that player controls. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 20 or more artifacts, you win the game. Yeah, I have connected with Ancient Copper Dragon once, rolled a 20, had this, played this, won the game the next turn because no one could wipe out all my artifacts or deal with the Hellkite Tyrant. It's a very good card that people forget about, and it does make things a bit more interesting. Anyway, Kukushko, the Evening Star, is also in for the extra life gain when we get it killed off. Frogmere Enforcer comes in. The prototype's quite nice. And we can also do the whole affinity for artifacts thing if we want to. So we should be able to get a 4/4 down. Or if push comes to shove, get a 2/2 down. Just see what happens. Furnace Hellkite, again another one of the affinities for artifacts. An Artifact Dragon, I'll cope with that. It's probably going to be casting it for 2 red most of the time for a 5/5 with flying that we can do fire breathing with. The traditional Mere Enforcer, because we had Frogmite, we had to have the Enforcer as well, so we're in with this. Slag Strider comes in as well from one of the Modern Horizons sets, I can't remember which one off the top of my head, where we can sacrifice an artifact to deal 1 damage to any target. It gives us a way to get rid of some of our treasures and clues and things if we think we're going to die by recasting an Imskir, so that's nice. Sojourn's Companion. Yeah. 2 reasons. It's got affinity for artifacts with 4/4, that's fine. But we can pay 2 and go and get an artifact land into our hand, which is sometimes better. Yeah. Oh, I will mention now, the Great Furnace is not in this deck. If you've got one, if I build this in real life, I would add it in. But at the moment, the Great Furnace, for some reason on MTGO, where I play most of my Commander nowadays, is around about 8 tickets. And however much I like the Great Furnace, I'm not paying 8 tickets for basically a common land. Bear that in mind. But I'll go through the lands when we get there in a minute. Just mentioning it now while I'm thinking about it. There are some traditional black-red cards I like having in the deck. So the Archfiend of Despair to stop everyone else gaining life and doing some extra damage, or life loss as the case may be. Archon of Cruelty yeah, I like Archon of Cruelty, the end. Enters the battlefield or attacks target opponent, sacks a creature or planeswalker, discards a card and loses 3 life. You draw a card and gain 3. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Cavern Hall Dragon is also in. Cost X less to cast, where X is the greatest number of artifacts an opponent controls. Okay, so you're probably going to take this down to probably around about 5, maybe 6 mana. But Flying, Trample and Haste, and whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you create a treasure token for each artifact that player controls, which is very nice, thank you very much. Chizgora, Forged Tyrant, is legendary. When it enters, when it attacks, exile top 5 cards of our library. You may cast an artifact spell from among them this turn. If you do, it has affinity for artifacts. Yeah, then. Furnace Dragon has affinity for artifacts, but, and this is a big but, if you played it from your hand, exile, it says now it's been edited since Darksteel, exile all artifacts from the game. Now, this does have its benefits in that you will exile everybody's, but you'll lose all your stuff as well, so be very careful playing this. But there are some artifacts that are annoying, like Portal for Phyrex, for example. It's a great one to get exiled. So be careful how you play this, but it is quite good fun when it happens. The final card, Phyrexian Triniform, because I just like the Encore ability. The end, really. That's it. Yep. Obnixilis of the Black Oath is in because it gives us another way to gain some life, which does become important, as you'll see in a second. Toxic Deluge is one of the reasons life gain is important. Make sure everything's hit -X, but then we have Chain Reaction, Damnation and Blasphemous Act for the rest of the deal with the board side of things. Unexpected Windfall, or you can play whichever one of the instant ones that discard a card, draw 2, give you a couple of treasure tokens you want. I just like Windfall because I like the artwork. Gix's Command's in as well. 2 +1/+1 counters on up to 1 creature and give it lifelink till the end of turn. Destroy each creature with a power of 2 or less, gives us another way of wrathing the board. Returning a couple of cards, or each opponent sacrifices a creature with the highest power amongst creatures they control. Pick whichever 2 you think are most relevant at the time of casting. It's great. Season of Blood is the Paw card from Bloomborough. Gives us 5 tapped treasure tokens, which means they cut Imskir's casting cost down to red, black and colourless. Blood Money, even more treasure tokens to control the board. And then because we've got so many treasure tokens, I figured Insurrection would be playable at some stage. Nick everybody's creatures, give them haste and swing for the win and kill everyone with their own creatures. Should be doable, one feels. We have quite a few artifacts, some of which we can eventually use to sacrifice off we need to get the last few points in. But Mox Tantalite, Soul Talisman are here just for some ramp. Basilisk Collar because we do need life. Elixir of Immortality, shuffle everything back in if it goes pear-shaped. Prying Blade gives us whenever an equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, create a cut treasure token. Cope with that. Shadow Spear gives the equipped creature trample and lifelink, as well as +1/+1. Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Charcoal Diamond, Fire Diamond, Jet Medallion, Ruby Medallion, Rakdos Signet, Talisman of Indulgence, and Rakdos Cluestone give us all the ramp. Lockstorm Warhammer is another great bit of the artifact that we can equip to something, gain some life and give it trample. And if we need to, we can eventually sacrifice it off to Lightning Bolt something, which is the most expensive Lightning Bolt in the world, but can happen. Scale of Agora is also here as affinity to artifacts, and it can give one of our creatures +0/+1. Again, it's purely because of the affinity to artifact side of it. The Reaver Cleaver gives us whole load of treasure tokens, +1/+1 and trample to the creature that we've got attached to. The Tooth of Agora gives us a +1/+0 effect instead of the pumping the toughness, we pump the power. And then we have Aetherflux Reservoir. Do you know why we have Aetherflux Reservoir in the deck? Well, I'm sure you've seen it. We've got Bolas's Citadel in the deck as well. This is why I'm quite keen on having some life gain in the deck. These two in play just wreck things ridiculously, because you can just keep playing cards off your top until you hit a land with a Citadel, and every time you play a card, don't forget you get the life how many spells you played that turn, and it's quite easy just to go, if someone, bizarrely, like happened to me the other day when I was playing, moved all my lands from the deck, and I had these two in play, I'd be quite happy, because I'd win the game there and then. Bear in mind. Tempting Contract gives each opponent a treasure if they want one, and then we get treasures for each opponent who had one. Tamio's Journal gives us a clue, and the Transmutation Font gives us away. Sorry, yawning. Probably it's a bit late in the day for me to be recording. Got a bit tired during the day, so apologies for that. Transmutation Font. Tap it, we get a blood, a clue, or a food. Food's nice because it gives some of a way of surviving. The whole comes into play effect of Imskir, but we can sacrifice 3 different tokens with 3 different names, get an artifact card and put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. Lovely way of getting either Reservoir or Bolas's Citadel into play, hence why the Transmutation Font is here. A few enchantments, nothing too fancy. Bastion of Remembrance, so when our creatures die we can do the whole drain again. Whip of Eberros, so we give all our creatures lifelink, which helps us if we have to go down the Bolas's Citadel for Flux Reservoir route. And Revel in Riches, in case we do end up with 10 or more treasures at the beginning of our upkeep, we can win the game that way as another backup win condition. There is one expensive card in real life in here, that's Badlands. Drop it, change it for something else if you want to, but everything else is fairly standard red-black lands all the way through the deck, and quite fun to play. And that's it. That's my take on Imskir, the Iron Eater. You can change it around, you can play more artifacts and sacrifice the artifacts if you want to. I think it's more fun for doing the card draw and going that way. Trying to win with the Bolas's Citadel, Aetherflux Reservoir win condition is also good fun, so hence why it's there. We've got a couple of other things, Revel in Riches, the Dragon, so on and so forth, so we've got enough ways of winning if we need to. But that's it. I hope you enjoyed this one. I hope, if you haven't been here before, Duskmourn will be back next week, I promise, but I was asked to do this deck. If there is a card I haven't covered here on the YouTube channel, leave me a comment down below. I'm quite happy to take people in, cards I want to see done, or if you want me to do an update of one of the decks I've done before, let me know down below and we can sort that out. We have got a little bit of time coming up and coming towards the end of looking at the cards from Duskmourn, and we've got a little bit of time before Foundations hits, so I would imagine that some of the Foundations Legends will be ones I've covered already, so there'll be a lot of updating going on. But if there's something you want to find out that you haven't seen on the channel, like I say, leave me a comment down below. And yeah, I'll see you very soon on the stream. There's a link to that down below on Twitch. If you want to come and see me stream, go and give me a follow there. Hit the subscribe button here on YouTube. Get me away from 534 and up and up and up. And yeah, that's it for now. There's a replay of a stream tomorrow, so enjoy that one. But for now, take care, and I will see you very soon on stream. Bye.